They told you, mercy is noble. They told you, mercy makes you loved, respected, remembered. But Machiavelli, the ruthless master of power, revealed the truth. No one dares to speak the truth, that mercy is weakness, and weakness is death. Because the man who spares his enemy today creates his own destroyer for tomorrow. The ruler who shows mercy teaches men. He can be tested, teaches them. His hand trembles, teaches them. His heart bleeds. And once they see weakness, they will never stop pressing until he is broken. Machiavelli understood that cruelty well used is more merciful than mercy badly used, because one decisive act of severity can end rebellion forever. While mercy invites endless disobedience, mercy is weakness, because it destroys fear. And fear is the only chain that binds men stronger than loyalty or love. Men do not obey out of gratitude. They obey out of necessity, out of fear of punishment, out of consequences. And the ruler who forgets this, who believes that mercy will earn eternal loyalty, is already doomed. History proves this again and again. Empires fell because kings forgave rebels who rose again. Stronger generals spared enemies who later cut their throats. Leaders showed compassion and were devoured by the very people they tried to save. Because human nature is not noble, it is selfish, it is hungry, it is ruthless. And when mercy removes fear, men no longer restrain themselves. Machiavelli advised rulers to punish swiftly and decisively, to strike once with such force that no one dares to test him again. Because that is true. Mercy, true mercy, is stability through fear. True mercy is order through cruelty. The naive will say kindness wins hearts. But Machiavelli laughed at this because love fades. Love betrays love, cannot survive temptation or ambition, but fear endures, fear compels obedience. When love dissolves and cruelty used with precision creates peace where mercy creates chaos. Mercy is weakness because it blinds you to the reality of men. It makes you hope when you should prepare. It makes you forgive when you should eliminate it. Makes you hesitate when you should strike. And hesitation is the doorway through which betrayal enters. Look at rulers who tried mercy. Caesar forgave his enemies, and they gathered in secret to murder him. Emperors pardoned traitors, and those traitors plotted once more. Kings showed kindness to rebels, and rebellion grew stronger. Every downfall begins with mercy disguised as virtue, and every survival begins with cruelty disguised as necessity. Machiavelli told us that it is better to be feared than loved, and nowhere is this more true than in mercy, because love invites betrayal, but fear prevents it. Love creates obligations easily broken, but fear creates chains. No man dares to break. Mercy is weakness because it gives your enemies time. It gives them breath. It gives them opportunity to recover, regroup, and strike back stronger. But cruelty kills opportunity. Cruelty silences rebellion. Cruelty teaches once and forever that disobedience is fatal. The psychology of power demands this because human beings respond not to kindness, but to strength, not to mercy, but to fear. And when a ruler understands this, he becomes untouchable. Mercy will kill him. Cruelty will save him. Mercy will earn him pity. Cruelty will earn him obedience. Mercy will destroy him. Cruelty will make him eternal. And that is why Machiavelli insisted that cruelty well used was the highest form of mercy, because it prevented greater bloodshed by making rebellion impossible. And yet rulers and men still fall, for the illusion still believe mercy will win loyalty, still hope kindness will buy devotion, still expect gratitude, but gratitude does not exist in politics or power. Gratitude dies the moment self-interest changes. Gratitude dies when fear is gone. Gratitude dies when opportunity for betrayal arrives and mercy accelerates. All of this. Mercy gives men the courage to betray. Mercy removes the fear that holds them loyal. Mercy is weakness because it trusts human nature to be noble when human nature is vile. It expects goodness from wolves. It expects kindness from vipers. It expects safety from daggers pointed at your heart. Mercy is the rope men will use to strangle you. And Machiavelli warned us again and again never to hand it over, because once you do, you cannot take it back. Cruelty may seem dark, but it is the shield of survival, the sword of control, the law of power. The naive who show mercy will bleed, and the wise who embrace fear will rule forever. Mercy is weakness, because it convinces you that restraint is a virtue, when in truth restraint is surrender. And Machiavelli knew that in the ruthless arena of power, only those who strike without hesitation survive. He wrote that cruelty well used should be executed swiftly, decisively, and at once, because drawn-out punishment breeds hatred, but decisive cruelty breeds fear and respect. The ruler who hesitates to punish the ruler who shows mercy to traitors teaches his people that he is soft, that he can be tested, that his words carry no finality, and when men believe this, their ambition rises, their courage grows, and rebellion becomes inevitable. Mercy feeds rebellion. Cruelty kills it at its birth. Look at history the rulers remembered as strong. Never let mercy cloud their judgment. They cut down rivals in a single stroke. They crushed opposition with overwhelming force. They silenced whispers before they became roars, and because of this, their reign endured. Mercy is weakness, because it creates opportunity, and opportunity breeds betrayal. When you pardon your enemy, you give him time to recover. When you forgive your rival, you give him time to plot. When you spare your opponent, you give him time to sharpen his dagger against your throat. Mercy turns today's defeated foe into tomorrow's executioner. Cruelty removes him from the board forever. Machiavelli compared this to surgery. A skilled surgeon cuts once deeply and saves the patient. A clumsy surgeon hesitates, cuts halfway, leaves infection behind, and the patient dies. Mercy is the clumsy surgeon. Cruelty is the skilled one. Mercy is weakness, because it creates an illusion that men will repay kindness with loyalty. But Machiavelli understood men repay kindness with ambition. They see your mercy not as nobility, but as softness, not as virtue, but as vulnerability. And vulnerability is the invitation to strike. Machiavelli insisted it is better to commit cruelty once decisively than to practice mercy many times and watch betrayal multiply. He believed a ruler should never trust in gratitude, because gratitude is temporary, selfish, and unreliable. Gratitude disappears the moment self-interest demands. Gratitude dies faster than love, and love itself is fragile, but fear survives. Gratitude can be replaced by greed, but fear cannot. Gratitude fades when ambition rises, but fear deepens when ambition tempts. This is why mercy is weakness, because it relies on gratitude while cruelty relies on fear, and fear is eternal. Mercy is weakness because it puts the burden of survival on others. You rely on their goodness, you rely on their nobility, you rely on their promises, but cruelty puts survival back in your hands. You take control, you enforce obedience, you leave no room for betrayal. Machiavelli explained that cruelty used early in a reign establishes authority that lasts forever, while mercy weakens authority from the start. Because men test limits like fire spreading through dry wood. If it is not stamped out quickly, it consumes everything. Cruelty is the stamp. Mercy is the spark. Cruelty saves lives in the long run, because it prevents endless cycles of rebellion, while mercy kills more than cruelty, because it invites rebellion again and again. Mercy is weakness, because it is short-sighted. It looks noble in the moment, but destroys stability in the future. Cruelty looks harsh in the moment, but creates peace, stability, and order. Machiavelli believed rulers must choose the lesser evil, and cruelty well used was the lesser evil compared to the chaos mercy unleashed. Those who clung to mercy were destroyed by it. Those who embraced cruelty survived and thrived. This is not philosophy, it is reality. Kings who pardoned traitors lost their crowns, generals who spared enemies lost their armies, leaders who forgave rivals lost their lives. Mercy is weakness because it blinds you to human nature, makes you believe men can be loyal without fear. makes you think kindness creates devotion. But devotion is not born of kindness. It is born of necessity, and necessity comes only from consequences and fear. Mercy is weakness, because it is the weapon of the naive, and the naive are eaten alive by the ruthless. Mercy is a lie whispered to the weak, to keep them weak. Mercy is the bait that turns rulers into victims. Cruelty is the truth that keeps rulers alive and power in their hands. Machiavelli told us that survival is not about being loved. It is about being feared, not about being kind. It is about being untouchable. Mercy may make men praise you for a day, but cruelty makes them obey you for a lifetime. And when the storm comes, it is not praise that saves you. It is obedience. Mercy is weakness, because it dies the moment it is tested. Cruelty survives every test, because it never depended on love or gratitude. It depended only on fear, and fear never lies. In the end, Machiavelli's law stands, unshaken. Mercy is weakness, because it is the seed of betrayal, the mask of naivety, the open door through which destruction enters rulers who believed mercy would win them. Loyalty, instead, lost their crowns, their armies, and their lives, because human beings are not bound by gratitude or love. They are bound only by necessity and fear. The prince who spares today will be slain tomorrow. The general who forgives today will be ambushed. Tomorrow, the leader who shows compassion today will be abandoned tomorrow, because mercy teaches men that your hand trembles, that your sword can be stayed, that your heart bleeds, and once they know this, they will never stop testing you. Machiavelli knew that mercy turns kings into victims, and victims into corpses. Cruelty turns rulers into legends, because cruelty executed swiftly and decisively burns its lesson into memory, and that lesson is never forgotten. Mercy is weakness, because it buys you temporary praise at the cost of permanent authority. Cruelty costs you temporary hatred, but buys you eternal obedience. Machiavelli warned that men judge more by what they see than what they feel, and when they see mercy, they see softness, but when they see cruelty, they see power. Mercy is weakness, because it rests on the illusion of human goodness. Cruelty rests on the certainty of human fear, and fear is the only force that never fades. Love dies, loyalty breaks, gratitude vanishes, but fear remains. Mercy will get you betrayed. Fear will keep you obeyed. Mercy will get you pitied. Fear will get you remembered. Mercy will open your gates. Fear will build your fortress. Mercy will destroy you. Fear will save you. And that is why Machiavelli's brutal law of power endures through centuries. Because it was never about kindness. It was about survival. Never about morality. It was about reality. Never about love. It was about control, and control is life. Mercy is weakness, because it sacrifices tomorrow for the illusion of today. Cruelty sacrifices today for the certainty of tomorrow, and only tomorrow matters, because only survival matters. Machiavelli taught that the prince who wishes to endure must crush rebellion before it spreads, must strike betrayal before it matures, must silence defiance before it multiplies, because a single cruel act today prevents endless bloodshed tomorrow, but a single merciful act today guarantees endless betrayal. Tomorrow, mercy is weakness, because it makes you trust what should never be trusted, and when you trust men, you hand them the dagger with which they will cut you. Down, Machiavelli forced us to look at human nature without illusions, to see that men are selfish, fickle, ungrateful, and ruthless. And when you see this truth, mercy becomes impossible, because mercy is a bet placed on loyalty, and loyalty does not exist. The survivors, the rulers, the untouchables of history were not those who forgave. They were those who punished, not those who loved. They were those who ruled with fear, not those who hesitated. They were those who struck once and struck decisively. Mercy is weakness, because it is the comfort of the weak. Cruelty is the weapon of the strong, and in the ruthless psychology of power, the strong survive while the weak are consumed. Machiavelli's final law is brutal, but eternal. Show mercy, and you invite betrayal. Show cruelty, and you secure obedience. Show kindness, and you will be forgotten. Show fear, and you will be remembered forever. Mercy will kill you, fear will crown you, and cruelty will make you immortal. This is the law, this is the truth, this is Machiavelli's brutal command. Mercy is weakness.